And that's the story of how I was banned from the Empire State Building.
And that's why I can't touch the condiments anymore. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Autumn Colors Podcast. I'm Sozo.
Actually,
Today, we're talking about the divisive Devil May Cry 2025 anime.
yes, more specifically, the second season of said divisive anime.
Oh, we didn't really do much of. We didn't really bother even going into the first season, so and it's also kind of an interesting conversation when you at it. We can also
Probably it is.
also it's my show, so I don't really give a fuck.
This is my show. I do whatever the fuck I want.
It's interesting because it's one of those series you could see in real time where the perception of this changed. Because I remember when this series like first got actually just announced in any way, shape, or form, like that teaser of Dante killing some demons and voiced by
Yeah.
Johnny on Bosch, and it's like everyone was just like really excited. Oh man, I can't wait to see where this goes. And then season one hit, and all of a sudden it was a complete 180.
Now, granted, there were some people iffy about Johnny Young Bosch voice and Dante, but people really kind of brushed that off. It was
Yeah.
like he did Nero. It just
Yeah,
Nero. They did the jokes of
that's the
Nero
thing.
voicing
Is that
Dante.
I mean, one, he's had a history of really good voice acting, but also like for a long time DMC fans. I mean, this is the dude that played Nero and replacing Ruben Langdon for or whoever I think did his voice previously.
Yeah, it was Ruben Langdon.
Yeah, replacing Ruben Langdon for younger Dante. I think it's an actually good idea to go through.
Yeah,
Uh, but ultimately, it's just for a lot of the stuff, right? It's kind of interesting that pretty much no, it's how do I
it's
describe
hard
it?
to explain. It's hard to
Yeah,
explain.
it's like it's just like
But, but
I
I
feel
will
okay.
say th-
No, go ahead first.
I will say this before we go into our tangents and say what we need to say. When it's not people screaming in your ear, be it the haters or the director, because we'll get into that later, probably maybe. It it at its core, the action is pure Devil May Cry at its finest. Like I'll admit, it does have its issues, but like holy, but when it pops off, it pops off. Again, you can enjoy it without people screaming in your ear that it's bad or
Yeah,
a quote unquote message.
it's it's I think on the whole the best way to describe it. We've had a couple of different comparisons, but I think the best way to describe it with this, like it's like a baker or chef cooked
Right.
you pizza. Now, about 7 out of 8 of those slices are really good, but that eight slice, whatever happened to it, it's just completely undercooked. And it's just like the idea is just essentially like, look, the rest of this pizza is really good, but if you were to either take that other piece out or just make it differently, I feel like this could have gone like actually like it could have actually had some genuine it could be actually like genuinely better, but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that eighth piece exists and it's a part of it, it's just like
That's just gotta keep.
it's a genuine bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah, it's like it's everything else is fine. It's just that last piece, bad taste. It's just gonna linger.
Yeah, it's
Which
like
uh,
I mean if we were talking you mentioned it up a little, but I think if I were to like as of now rate this show, like what is the better season, I would 100% say season compared to season.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, I could see it.
I think season one has it the worst because a lot of the stuff that people like really don't like that they added with this story and everything is specifically like at its worst when it comes to season one. And season two, they decided to kill off the characters that brought that shit in.
We see we heard the issue, so we'll do this right, kind of sort.
Yeah, like it's because here's the thing, right? Like season one, it's interesting because it's like an inverse. Because season one started with probably one of the best ways possible. Like you have like Dante just kicking ass and taking names and everything, and
Yeah,
he's not like the wisecracker that he eventually would become, but he's like he's trying at least. He's like getting he's rough around the edges and everything.
yeah, but you could see that little bit of Dante that's in there.
Yeah. And then the end of it is full on, hey, let's do face value commentary on the war on terror and Iran or Iraq, I should say, and
Yeah.
set to American Idiot. Like, and then cut to season one, and this is why I refuse to really watch that first episode. It is that as the starting point. But by the end of the series, it's like this is probably the most Devil May Cry, like at its heart, to Devil May Cry.
Right. Is it? And you know what, I can respect that, especially when and this is coming from a long time DMC fan. Is like there were that main thing was the issue that was kind of rubbing me the wrong way, but I kind of just swallowed the pride and just saw it through because you know what? At the end of the day, it is just elementary Devil May Cry when you think about it.
It it's like it's really tough because like it's such it has like you can really see at some there's somebody there is at least one person writing this that either has played Devil May Cry, be it 4, 3, or even 5, has at least watched some of the highlights in the cutscenes and went, okay, this is what people like most about Devil May Cry. Let's tap into that. Or I would even argue maybe there's someone at Capcom who actually worked on Devil May Cry who worked on this. Like you can tell there's something there that they're
There
tapping
is.
into.
It is just unfortunately surrounded
Asterisk,
by every
but
asterisk, but it is unfortunately surrounded by
yeah,
everything else.
it's it's really tough among everything else because it's just like really when you just like think about it, it's like on the whole, I feel Devil May Cry could do what this series is attempting to do, but in some way make it entertaining or actually have it like genuine like good commentary on something. Like I mean,
Right.
everything that they're relatively doing is on some level like stuff like the reboot did. Like this whole thing around politics that was around the reboot, the whole thing around the news media being controlled and everything that was also around the reboot, the demon world and the human world sort of intersecting and becoming one again. That was also in the reboot. Like there's stuff here that the reboot had that while done either weak, poorly, or just
And
flat out terrible in some ways. It was
yeah.
there. There was something there because I think that's also the same vibe. I think a lot of people who played the reboot have. It's like it's a good game, but as a Devil May Cry story in the franchise, it's like if this was named something else and didn't have ties to the franchise, it could be seen as an okay game.
Right. Like if so basically it's the same thing here. If it didn't have ties to DMC, it'd be fine as an anime on its own.
Yeah. But even then, right? That like I won't even know if that's the case, and that's the troubling thing, because
Right.
especially with the second season, the amount of focus and expansion they do with characters like Dante and Virgil is like it's really tough for this to say that oh if this was named anything else everyone would love this as much. I feel it's in those cases where it's like if this was named something else, if this was done genuinely done that way, like I seriously don't know if that would actually end up working in its favor. I seriously don't know because I feel like the problem would be the same across the board. It's just like, oh man, I like the combat, I like the all these different moments with these characters and whatnot. I like the like person to person sort of conflict and everything. I like that. But dude, all of this face value commentary on the
It
US and everything just is getting in the way and it's like,
yeah, it's just come on. Uh, but I will say, if I can say one good thing about this anime, it got me from going, "Who the fuck is Arius?" to actually considering a genuine villain.
yeah. Yeah, like
I
it
will I
that's the
will give it
thing on
that.
the whole is that like hell, among everything else, it's like if you were to ask me, "Hey, like how is like Dante and Lady's relationship in this compared to the games?" I would say this is a lot better compared to the games.
Honestly, you know what? This whole Dante and Lady relationship thing just kind of technically makes the 2008 anime funnier.
Yeah, it
That's all
does.
it made me think about. It's like, damn, gave him a kiss and now taking everything he owns. Just typical divorce. That's all that is. It's just a messy divorce.
Why she take the kids?
I mean, Patty's right there. She's already taken Patty. It's like, why you got to take the money he doesn't have?
Uh,
Uh,
but it's interesting, especially when it comes to like okay, like there are some things here that people will nitpick him. Just like I look at it and I'm just like, okay, I don't think you actually played Devil May Cry in its entirety. Like people talk about like one of the problems that people have had with the I believe what was it some of the fight scenes with Dante had in like the first season, like his first bout with Lady. It's just like okay, so Dante could do all of this shit, but he somehow can't fucking protect his own necklace against Lady, who's a fucking human. It's just like, I mean, Dante is a character with a hubris because he can't die.
okay,
Like,
so if we look back at that scene in DMC3 when he caught her from falling and then she got shot in the mouth.
yeah, dude, like one of the most famous scenes out of Devil May Cry is Dante's entrance in 3 with him shirtless and getting stabbed by a bunch of demons. Like,
And he just walks it off.
yeah,
It's
like
great.
why wouldn't that guy be have a chip on his shoulder. Like damage
Exactly.
means nothing to him.
It's exactly. I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't mean nothing to anybody, any of us, if we could have that kind of durability.
Yeah. And then there's also stuff like I mean, like I think Smug sort of was talking about this earlier. It's just like the whole thing with like Lady and the demons and the refugees and everything. It's just like I mean, DMC3 and I've said this before with DMC as a whole with its story. DMC's storytelling is it's kind of weak all things considered. I mean, like legitimately with the fact that you can boil down so many of Devil May Cry's stories to the simplest factors and everything, it's just like it says something like what is DMC3 about? Oh, Virgil was lonely and had daddy issues. So he opened a portal to hell. DM fucking DMC5, literally people have memed about this. Dude, Virgil stole his son's arm for more power and an apple, and he still fucking lost. Like, and hell,
DMC.
literally the ending to Devil May Cry 5 ends with Nero saying to Dante and Virgil, hey, maybe don't kill yourselves if you have problems with each other as a family. It's
I
like,
love the ending of DMC5 was literally family therapy
yeah, that was
through
literally fucking
violence.
it. And it's just like, look, Devil May Cry, as historically, does not have great storytelling in the same way with a lot of Capcom games. But what
Right.
it lacks in storytelling, it makes up for certain highlights and characters and the gameplay and the music and the aesthetic. Like this series is at its best when it's one, not incredibly over the top, like serious and dramatic and everything, but two, when it knows
But
how
it's
to
having fun.
have fun.
Yeah. And that's why we can. That's why we can say we can enjoy the series for what it is.
Yeah. Like I mean, like the first time like we see Dante take on a number of other humans and whatnot, he's played to fucking lights out. We're on the radio on his jukebox, taking on a bunch of soldiers. It's like later on, he's driving down a highway on a bike, taking on a bunch of demons that are Easter egg ties to the DMC series. Played to fucking Last Resort by Papa Roach.
See, that's the kind of shit I live for.
Like, genuinely, like, and when I was going, I mean, I've been talking about season one this time. I mean, like,
Right.
but going into season two, I mean, the one thing I was worried about the most of everything was that, okay, so is this going to be a whole thing of like, I don't know, what I would guess like what Snyder had kind of been doing to DC, where it's like you're kind of like you're butch, you think you get these characters, but you don't actually understand these characters. Just like
And
what,
then
like the whole thing with Virgil taking on a bunch of the U.S. soldiers and everything. Like, okay, first he's fine, handling off fine and everything, and then he gets tased. Like, okay, you're fucking up, you're fucking up, and then a second you hear. Let the bodies hit the floor. I'm just immediately thinking, okay, yeah, okay, we're back. They know how the fuck to handle this.
all right, okay, you had us worried for a second. And then, of course, the iconic Ebony and Ivory scene with the gun twirling.
Not just that, I'll say episode 2 in its entirety in the second season. Like,
Yeah.
there is the really good moment around Dante's nightmare towards his family and his brother. That's his awakening. That's his awakening after being thawed out, which is a really good fucking moment. After that, it is the hey, let's catch up on everything while Dante is being talked to by a psychiatrist and Lady as well. Both of them have retellings are completely them. Dante has this chibified version of Lady himself, followed by a JoJo's reference.
And then Ladies Noir.
He's fucking film noir.
I knew she was trouble the minute she walked in that door.
You ate 5 vending machines. And again, like, and then you like again, credit where it's due. They actually do go above and beyond for characters that one are either like don't either have as much time as they really should in the games, or are just name dropped for the sake of being name dropped. Like, oh, who made Dante's guns? Oh, Nell Goldstein. Really ever see her? Not really, no. Like, I don't even remember if she ever even showed up in the games all that much.
No, she never did.
Yeah. Which cuts to the whole thing on that second episode. It's like, we actually get introduced to Nell, and one of her first lines is just, that's flashy, but I think I could use something more. Grenades, perhaps?
Grenades.
Dante's reaction to seeing her is just like, she's who I would want my grandma to be.
Yes.
Like, it's just like for a character that we rarely, if at all, barely get anything about or any focus on, and the only silver line we got is that her daughter, actually gets screen time in fucking 5 as a supporting character, but that's kind of it. But like for a character that we just like never get to see, it just feels like this does feel like a character that would absolutely be at home in Devil May Cry.
Right. And it just makes it all the more interesting.
Yeah, and again, like you were saying, that Ebony and Ivory moment is again like if Dante had a moment where he actually got his guns for the first time and was trying to show them off a la Devil May Cry what would do, that's 100% of how they would do it.
Yep. It's not just Dante's reaction through it all. It's Nels and Ladies through from the pure shock to the just psychotic grin.
And it's just like it's not just him showing himself as a badass. It's him like fucking parkouring while also firing the bullets and just going woo. Like that to me is just that's understanding Dante as a fucking character, and that's where I'm like, that's what makes it so fucking conflicting dealing with this series. It's like there's so many moments like that. Hell, there are moments where it's like the fact that I was like, all right, I didn't expect to see this, but it's a welcome inclusion to the series. Like, oh, I don't know, Virgil going on a talk show. It's like, yeah, you never really see this with his character, but at the same time, considering he's Dante's brother, it's like you can kind of see that connection there on some.
It's like, yeah, I could see it happening. Yeah, that's fair.
Like there,
uh,
I will say, like there's out of all the interpretations that Virgil has had in the number of things he has been in, whether it be like crossover games or so on or whatnot, there's only really two versions I like of him. This version, of course, and the Punishing Gray Raven version. Because they
yeah,
had Daniel Southworth record a bunch of lines for Virgil that were, interestingly, actually kind of nice. He's just like,
but then you
I,
think about it. Oh yeah, because the DMC collab technically takes place after five,
yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
technically, like, I'm pretty sure either the creator or someone on the team said that it technically can be canon adjacent.
Okay, so it would make sense that the Punishing Gray Ravens Virgil would be more, while still himself would be more laid back or
Yeah,
open.
like, he will still have lines in battle, like, have you decided which one of you will die first, or how disappointing, or this is
Uh,
power, you shall die. But then you
all
get to
that.
his lines when you actually have him as a character and interacting with him, and he will be like, I don't despise you, but you should seize this. When you give him a gift, or it's just like, or if you just try to push his buttons by actually tapping screens, just like, I can instruct you in swordsmanship. You wish to learn, but stop here. There's stuff like that, and then followed by this, which also we haven't really talked all that much about it. Yeah, we did talk about how Johnny and Bosch replaced Dante, but it's just like I was listening we're listening to this in the second season. I was just like, I don't really know how I'd feel if the actual video game actors and actresses came back to reprise their roles in this, because I just don't feel like anime wise for the medium and style, their voices fit all that well.
Right.
Like
Y-
no, it's just like with Daniel Southworth and Ruben Langdon, it's just like you look at the characters for Dante and Virgil in season 1 and 2, and it's just like I don't know, their voices I feel would have always been like that's like I get it's nostalgic, but they always feel a little off. So actually having Johnny Bosch and Robbie Damon in this, just they actually play off the fucking roles really fucking well.
Yeah. Yeah. That does make sense. Yeah.
It's literally the fucking line from that TFS video, the Deadpool versus one, where it's just like, just because you're the most beloved doesn't mean that they're beholden. You gotta experiment, give someone else a shot, right? Come on, you'll always
Right.
be the DMC Virgil, as you made it
But
quite clear.
there's
That's thing.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Just
it's like it's just really goes to show. I mean, like the fact that they were able to give other people a shot at this, and the fact that it is very talented actors. I mean, like the fact that you got two, among all other things, like the fact that you got two persona actors in this, like that's saying something. And the fact that
that was a lot.
they're doing performances that are a lot of ways drastically different from what they have been known for doing with that series alone is like that's saying something. Like that really shows like goes gives them credit for how good of actors they are.
Right. And honestly, more that is more power to them. And if they do anything like this in the future, I'd be more than happy to support it.
Hmm. And then like to bring it back, I mean, on the other list of like other things people have brought up, I mean, like the one thing people say is just like they don't like the dialogue in this, which I think that complaint is mainly I don't like ladies dialogue because most of the time she's the one saying like a lot of swears.
It's like swearing does not make you cool.
Like swears is it's just like it feels similar to, I think, the Forspoken thing with Frey and Spider-Man with Peter, where it's like, yeah, both of these characters are kind of on the same wavelength. It's just you're getting on this character more, and let's be real, because she's a woman. Like, and if you don't believe me, cut to Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That series has a lot more. Honestly, that series has more foul dialogue compared to DMC 2025 by characters like David, and
But
nobody really seems to mind that all.
it's like, yeah, but it fits the theme. It's Night City. It's like, yeah,
Dude, like, it's Devil May Cry.
right though.
Like, yeah,
It's like,
like, and here's the thing too. Even in that logic, in Devil May Cry 5, Nero is saying fuck a lot. Like, screw it. We're
like,
taking this fucking thing down. Literally, when he goes up against Virgil the first time and activates Double Trigger, he says, fuck you.
and yet y'all were fine with that.
Yeah.
In fact, y'all cheered. Granted, we did cheer too, but still.
It's I part of me, I think, feels like much of this is it's coming from like it's this it's just it's coming from the crowd that looks at whatever's current and then does whatever say whatever they can to get attention. That's all it really feels like is the people who are on the whole who are actually complaining about this stuff are overshadowing the people who are criticizing it and making it seem like everybody who hates this series is just an attention-seeking whore. And it's like, I mean, like again, we were criticizing a little bit ago. It's just like, yeah, there's stuff to criticize in this series,
Yeah,
but it's
because we
all
won't lie.
overshadowed by those
I
kinds of people.
Yep. Because yeah, we won't lie. This anime does have its problems.
Yeah, like the whole thing. Like, hell, I'll even say for stuff like I like the focus of the other demon world, like Makai. I like their inclusion with like the other, demons and whatnot. I like the idea, like how the idea that they're utilizing demons as refugees to sort of like get Lady to break her prejudice on demons and everything. That's a neat idea. I like that, and the fact that they were utilized in a way that shakes Lady's faith towards who she actually sides with or who she fights for. Again, that's a good take. The problem is that all you really do with them outside of making them bloodthirsty human-eating monsters who are racist. Like, you either victimize them and turn them into people that are like tortured or turned into slaves, or you make them just stereotypical demons. And that's it.
There is no in between,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And unfortunately, like, it's sad because the world building around Makai and the culture and the different stuff like magic. They have this one character who's like this mage pop up, played by Keith David later. It's just like, this is really interesting and I really like this. But
Wait,
that's all you really. This feels like a lot of times it's all the demon world is good for. It's just that, where it's people a lot of the times are just seen as victims. And
yep.
for like a world that's supposed to be inspired by an actual like places like Iraq and the Middle East and everything, like it really feels insulting. It really feels insulting that this place that you're supposed to be doing commentary on America and the war on terror and everything, it feels insulting that you're making those people who are being attacked victims, and the only person with any kind of nuance or morally gray factor is Virgil. Like, because I feel like amongst everything else, the whole thing on the commentary works best with his character. Like, the line, you think the bombs that they drop on us only hurt the guilty. Your false self-righteousness has no place here and everything. It's just like, that's good coming from Virgil. But you cut to other characters doing this, and it does not hit the same. Like,
Yeah.
for example, the U.S. government. Okay, so I will say this before I get into it. I love that they got the late great Kevin Conroy, for, at
Of
least for
course.
season one. Because I'm pretty sure if I heard his performance in season one for some of the episodes, and then heard who they had as an understudy for season two, I'm pretty sure you could hear slight differences and whatnot. But overall, the understudy was doing a really good job as a Kevin Conroy impersonator. Won't lie,
Right.
I can give him points for that. And again, it's Kevin Conroy. Like hearing his voice and something is cool.
Yeah, you can't really replace that.
Yeah, I really wish he was playing someone else other than the fucking vice president because I could not stand his evangelical preachy ass. Fucking it's
Oh, that just comes natural.
yeah, I could not stand it. And also the US president, it's just like I feel like even in terms of a call out for America, this is probably the most offensive in its own way. Which is interestingly because it's just like, look, normally if you want to make commentary on like the president being stupid or the president being an idiot or just power hunk or whatever, look, I'm all for it. Like I love South Park. I love what they do a lot of the times with their commentary on military everything. Hell, I even love like other comedic takes. Like I mean, Family Guy has done a number of shots at Bush. I mean,
Yep.
hell, there was even that show a while back called Little Bush that Comedy Central had, which was an entire take on George Bush in and of himself, yada yada yada. And I mean,
Yeah.
hell, even Rick and Morty did commentary on Barack Obama on some level. Like,
Yeah.
there's look, if you want to take shots at the U.S. government, fine, go ahead. But
Oh,
it really
go ahead.
feels like you needed a clear understanding of who you were taking shots at because it doesn't really feel like there's one thing you're taking note from. It's okay, he's a fat, blonde hair, blue-eyed white dude with a southern accent. Like, okay, that's usually something that you can complain about or you can make commentary on for like, oh yeah, like the whole Texan southern stereotype. Okay, sure. But he has
Yeah.
this
How does one put it?
Family Guy cartoon-ish stereotyping accent.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, the kind of thing where it's like the I would say I think the best way to describe it is like a Paul Lind impression, like that. Like Arthur, I go Arthur from Bewitched. I go Arthur Galbraith. No,
No.
or the I don't know who the actor
Yeah.
was that played but the actor who played I think like Cinnamon in TFS's Dead Zone. But I got out. I got stuck in front of babysitting, and you had to take the edge off.
Oh god. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that voice, and it's like I don't know what the direction for that, and I'm sure the actor was just doing whatever they were told. Like I'm not no offense or attack on them. Sure, I'm pretty sure you were just doing your job and everything. That's fine, but it's just like I need to know what the direction for that was. Like, was that intentional, or was that like something that was just a happy accident? Like you went into audition with this kind of voice, and then the people who were casting were like, okay, that's kind of funny and that's ridiculous. That we kind of have to go for it. It's kind of funny in its own way because you listen to it and it's like, yeah, it is funny.
It is funny, but
It's like I just need to know if that was intentionally done as like, oh, like yeah, it was just a funny sounding accent, or if you were actually trying to be like, oh, we need to make him sound as weak and like we need to sound
useless as
as weak
possible.
and like vulnerable as better, so we're not going to give him any bass in his.
Let it be intentional.
I
That
like it,
because that way we could give it a little bit more leeway, but
and then I think about the U.S. president. I think of like the fucking dude, the fucking soldier that shot him in the fucking head. I just think of that fucking what was it, that Simpsons moment? It was just like they were doing like they were doing a fucking edit of a political film where they decided to kill everybody in the Oval Office, including the president. It's like you cut off the head of the U.S. president. I don't think we can air this film.
I fucking uh,
Also, speaking of, the dude who shot him, it's just like, why wasn't he more of a focus in this story? Like, he added more involvement in this story in like the 1 to 2 episodes he was in, as opposed to any of a lot of the other characters in this fucking story that were human.
yeah, because he actually had a goddamn this is the same guy that felt regret for shooting the president and a bunch of other
Yeah.
atrocities, as
I
opposed to Mister One Note. They aren't our enemy. We were told to guard this building. Type to Mister
Yeah.
One Notes
Oh
over
god,
here.
yeah, the fucking Darkcom soldiers yeah. So, yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But like
Yeah,
I'll talk about that in a bit. But I do want to talk because I do have a theory which I feel even then would kind of be more offensive in its own way. It's like, so I took a look back a little bit at the second, or not the second, the first season, just to kind of refresh my memory and everything. And there's this one dude, this black dude with blonde hair in the first season that was involved with the White Rabbit in some way. And I thought, okay, so this is like gonna be, I don't know, maybe he's gonna turn into a demon or something later, or maybe he's like just one of the shapeshifter demons just posing as the dude or something like that.
right.
As it turned out, he was under the White Rabbit's orders because the White Rabbit was holding his family hostage. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then he was confronted by the vice president regarding this. And the vice president just, I think, just shot him or pushed him out of the helicopter. And my thought process was that guy's character arc supposed to be for the dude in the second season?
Was it?
The
I,
dude in the second season comes out of nowhere until the second season. Like, he wasn't
I'd like
in the
to.
first season at all, I don't think. And then he gets
No,
this
no. He was.
major arc. And I'm just like, was that saved for the guy from the first season, but because you killed him off, you realize your mistake too late, and so you had to make someone else? That it,
That would
look,
be.
I don't want to make any bold claims, but if that's the case, it feels a little whitewashy. Which,
I mean,
ironically, that in and of itself could be commentary on America done well.
oh, it really would be though.
But
But the
like the rest of this series, you can't really tell what's intentional commentary all that much and what's just accidental good character development that works its way into good commentary. It's like,
it's
I don't, again, look, I know the director pushed for a lot of this political focus on everything around the events of the 2000s, like with 9/11, the war on terror. 100% certain of that. I don't give a fuck. He has nothing to say. He has nothing to say. Like,
it's
it's
just a giant
I'm
symbol.
not angry that this stuff exists to begin with. I'm not angry that you want to make commentary on 9/11 or have all this kind of like war and terror commentary and whatnot over 20 years after the events. Not the problem. The problem is you're just saying, "Hey, this happened in America. Isn't this fucked up?" Like, yeah, it is. Do you have anything else to add?
No,
It's like, and again, it's the problem. It's just like I don't know if some of these decisions regarding the commentary I do like in it are entirely him, and if they are, what is going on in his head? And if they aren't, okay, can we get the director? Just can we get that director to be like the coach who was in charge of like the Denver Broncos to be like, dude, can you shut the fuck up and let us
like
work? Like,
holy.
somebody, there have to be enough people in that studio, in those meetings, they have to draw a line in the sand at some point, especially going forward. We're like, no, we're not doing that, or we have to do this a different way, and this is how we're going to do it. Because I swear to God, if they figure out, if we're getting a whole Black Lives Matter thing in season 3 and onward, I swear to fucking God, I'm going to punch something. going to end something, something's life ends with me because I know for a fact this fucking director would not do a good job of it. He would only be saying shit we already knew or already were aware of without saying anything new or substantial.
And God, I really don't want to get into the director.
It's kind of hard to have to look,
Yeah.
especially the fact that he's decided to plaster his name even more throughout the second season. Oh yeah, it's my animation. I
Oh,
present the Devil May Cry anime. It's just like, dude,
oh,
Studio Mir's name is on the fucking animation. Like, don't like I this is what I'm talking about where it's like I feel bad for everyone else who's working on the series who genuinely either loves Devil May Cry or is giving their fucking all. Because, dude, we haven't even talked about some of the fights. Like the fight between Dante and Virgil,
is immaculate. Go
immaculate.
on.
Like a number of times they fight in this. Like, dude, Virgil just getting the blade knocked out of his hands and then going hand to hand, catching the blade with his bare fucking hand and then just throwing it at Dante. Like, that's really fucking cool.
That really is
Them fighting in like monuments in Washington, like the Lincoln Memorial. Like, that's actually pretty cool. But
that is. And then there, but
again, it's just the director is like the again. He has that eighth slice of pizza that's undercooked.
it's just that bad taste just keeps lingering.
Like, and I, but it's it's so it genuinely feels that. But I mean, like, and then there's also the fucking ending where it's like, yeah, you're like your leader of your organization turns into a giant demon that is killing people left and right, and the soldiers that are hired under his organization and everything are just like, look, we're just doing our job. We have to protect the building. It's like
Won't be anything left.
there's not anything left. Okay, there's a handful, and I know people are like, well, I mean, I know people who are probably like heavily defending this series. Like, okay, I'd like to hear you bring up other examples of series and game or media that does a better focus on social commentary. Okay, Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist literally outed its own government for being like people who were more than willing to throw their citizens and their own soldiers to through a wood chipper just for the possibility of getting immortality. The promise of that. There's an entire scene that leads to soldiers that are just like, I don't even know what to fight for anymore, with them getting lectured by saying, look, you've heard their entire plan and you don't know what to do. That's not following a leader that you believe in. That's mindless self-deception. You believe in yourselves and you choose life over death. Otherwise, you've lived a shameful life. Then it cuts to them just looking out the window and them realizing, I got a family here. Like, all of us do. They at that moment decided to retire. Just stop being soldiers and do the right thing. It's just like that is how you do commentary on that's how you do commentary on like the average just average citizen of in society and whatnot. It's just like a lot of people have their own reasons and their own desires for why they do what they do, but
Right.
if what is happening and what they're fighting for is gonna end up putting all of that in vain, just like what do they have to fight for left? It's just like that's what this series was kind of missing at point. And the problem is it managed to fix that because it had one character that understood this.
Yeah. And frankly, that, as far as I'm concerned, that guy's the MVP.
Yeah. And it's but okay, to move on to like actual stuff I do want to talk about, because this, among everything
Right.
else, this is actually like this has done a really good job with the Devil May. Like, for instance, I mean Dante and Lady's relationship, which has for over 20 years been constantly in the air. Like, everyone's wondering, hey, is Dante gonna end up with anybody? Dude, the amount of comics people like Dangerous Bride have made over, hey, Dante and Lady are a thing, Kikimation making an actual adult comic
Yeah.
around Dante and Lady with Dante eating pizza while they go at it. Then in,
Yeah.
then over 20 years later, the series finally decides, hey, let's have Dante and Lady actually be in a relationship and genuinely have kiss and then have off-screen sex. It's like, you know what?
You know?
I'll take it. Like,
Yeah. Fair
fuck it.
enough.
Like, this is doing more for DMC fans than, ironically, DMC.
It's like, you know what? Fair enough. We take those.
The only other alternatives Dante had was, I mean, it's Lady or Trish, a demon that was crafted to look like his mom.
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms we don't feel like opening up.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know, but
I touching that shit with 10-foot pole.
yeah, it's. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like that's that, and then there's also again the focus on Dante and Virgil, which, if you want to talk about like Virgil's focus and his character, yeah, this is like I've had this talk with who,
Uh-huh.
and we were talking about like I brought up again the whole thing with how yeah Virgil is kind of a meh character in terms of writing in the games because his whole thing is daddy issues and everything, mommy and daddy issues, and but at the same time it's just like it's the it's the TFS Broly thing of like really dumb, but they're so cool, but that's so dumb. It's
Yeah,
like
you know what?
you don't understand. The demon whose power incarnate is motivated by daddy and mommy issues. They are literal giant fucking man children. But
In hindsight, that is hilarious to think about.
yeah. But the fact that this story went out of its way to include moments that, were initially just supplemental because yeah, it's like, well, actually, if you read the manga, if you read these other stories, you'll see that, well, Virgil's character is actually a really tragic one because of everything that happens to his family. It's just like, here's the thing. Yes, that's supplementary material that's in the manga. Cool. But on the whole, the story in the game is still the story. That doesn't change anything. This is where something like that, yeah, it doesn't change anything with the game, but I like what it's doing because you more of Dante and Virgil's actual personalities and mentalities and ideologies. Like the whole
Right.
thing with like Virgil's drive for power in this is a lot more fleshed out and a lot like better explored in comparison to the game. Like yeah, his similar to Dante. Similar to Dante. Yeah, he's motivated by the death of his mom, sure. But that's kind of all you have to go with the game. Hell, it's arguable of whether or not that's actually his motivation in 5 because his motivation at that point was just becoming stronger and getting more powerful and then becoming whole and then taking on Dante. That's kind of
And
it.
that's it. And that's really it.
And
It-
like that's where I feel like the anime on a lot of ways just it goes above and beyond to explore and elaborate more on their lives before the games properly started and them growing up and sort of what molded them and what shaped them into being who they are. And
right.
that's just something that we really haven't got much with the games. Because I will say this is like I feel like the creator of DMC when it comes to the more making it a more emotional story, I don't think that's his strong suit. I think he suits best. I think he's best suited when he makes a lot of cool shit or fun shit happen, which he does a lot throughout the game. Like this is the
Yeah.
same guy who I will continuously bring this up. This is the same guy in an interview. He like they brought up, hey, so you posted this picture of there's a giant hole in your underwear. You want to talk about that? Like that's the guy who made Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. Like is
It's normal.
this is the guy who, when they were told, "Hey, can you not have characters with shades?" Be like, "All right, I'm giving everybody shades." How you feel
Just
about
for that,
that?
fuck you. It's just for
Like,
that, fuck you.
yeah. So this is among everything else. It's in the similar vein of I think I would argue he's like the Tite Kubo of
Right.
video game development, where Tite Kubo just likes drawing cool shit. A lot of the times, he just likes drawing cool shit. Sure, he can make an interesting story every so often, and he does have some good moments. But on the whole,
Right.
he's best suited to drawing really cool shit. He likes drawing characters really cool, and occasionally also drawing a very risque character. Like the fact that, canonically speaking, he has drawn one of his characters constantly having growing, just a growing chest, just to see if anyone's gonna who is like actually on board with him and everything will ask, "Can you stop?" They never did. So that's where, like, among everything else, that is where a lot of his strengths kind of lie the best. Where, as with the creator of Devil May Cry, you could tell his strength lies in making fun and cool.
Right. It's like we don't come here for while we do come here for good story and poignant moments. At the end of the day, we know what we came here. We just want to see cool shit happen.
Yeah, look, if I wanted to see a in-depth social commentary on society and everything, I would go watch Psycho.
Yeah. Oh, I'd go back to watch. I'd rewatch Code Geass.
Oh, I'd replay Metaphor.
Exactly. Give me a reason to play Metaphor again.
And like, I really, a lot of the times I really do enjoy a number of its moments and a number of characters. For instance, the Matilda or Maddie, I think was an interesting inclusion. Like, it is one of those things where I feel if it was done in a different light, it could have been seen as incredibly like god awful. But the fact
Right.
that it is very aware of what it's doing, and it also plays to that, like, yeah, the entire time Dante and Lady are hearing this little girl, but it's not like this is something where it's like, oh yeah, they will 100% be obliged to enjoy it. It's just like, dude, we have nothing to do for 8 hours. We have to kill time.
Yeah.
And they're more and more, they're just fucking annoyed and they're just tired of this. It's just like that in and of itself, I think, says a lot to sort of in way how fun this series can just be, while also understanding that, yeah, its characters are still these characters.
It's like, yeah, that they haven't, they don't change on the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Though I will admit that whole thing with Maddie, Matilda, and Virgil kind of gave me a bit of an unintentional laugh because one minute they're out here trauma dumping to another for one another, and next thing you know, your grandfather's life was fucking worthless. Busted out on there. Right?
I love fucking kills the demon that killed her grandfather. Like, that's my grandfather, you rotten, stinky, dirty demon bitch. I'm just like, hey, well, watch your fucking mouth, lady.
Hey, you should curse, kid.
You shouldn't swear.
Ah, yes, the epitome of hypocrisy. I don't know why that guy laughed at me like it did.
It's just like, there's a number of things in this. I like about it. Like, for instance, I mean, the ending to this. The whole thing, like, the one thing out of everything we'd never really gotten in Devil May Cry is a kaiju fight. We never gotten that, which is surprising considering this is Devil May Cry. You feel like something like that would happen. But,
You'd think it would have happened in 3 of all things.
eh, hell, you'd think it would happen in 4.
Be true. True. No, Dante versus the Savior doesn't count.
But, like, among everything else, it's like, it does do a lot that it just show that, yeah, it is very clear that there are people here that not only do understand what Devil May Cry is best at and what's suited at, but it's going above and beyond to go like, okay, what hasn't been done? What hasn't been done all that much in this series? Let's add to.
Right. So, but yeah, that and thanks to that, we did have moments that you wouldn't really see anywhere else,
Yeah.
like the aforementioned kaiju fight.
Never mentioned kaiju fight, and there's also stuff where it's like, even in terms of a Devil May Cry property, like it's kind of hard to argue that this would also happen in Devil May Cry as much. Like, I mean, yeah, they have like those jukebox moments, like in DMC 3, sure.
Right.
It has the and also like in DMC 5, it has a couple of those moments, like at the beginning and the ending, where it's like, yeah, Nero is just kicking ass to Devil Trigger. Which
Right.
that's an interesting thing with the music in this, is that like they have, yeah, they bring in Virgil and his theme, Bury the Light, sure. But for some reason, Dante's theme in this series is Trigger.
I don't get that
It
either.
should be subhuman among other things.
Either that or Taste of Blood.
It's the blood. It, like there's a number of other tracks here that it feels like that would work better for Dante, but it's just like it feels, I don't know. Maybe as a young Dante, that could be his theme, because I guess that kind of works. But it's just, again, it's just like that works best for Nero. It works best for Nero as opposed to Dante, because Subhuman is literally just, it plays to the tryhardness and time that Dante has lived in, but also the, in his own way, kind of the hubris and cockiness of him, because literally the lines is like, "You cannot kill me. I am subhuman." Like, that's just kind of Dante in general and whatnot.
Right. It's right there. Why didn't y'all use it?
Like, again, it's just like, embrace the darkness that's within me. All these thoughts run through my head. Arm on fire, veins burning red. It's just like that stuff that describes Nero.
Right. So it just still feels weird to this day.
It's, but I mean, like, again, on the whole, it's just like season 1. I think it has its moments on the whole, but it definitely, I think, does suffer with kind of a lot of what I've been complaining about, and what we've been complaining about with this. Seeing it, but it's interesting because like season 2 is like, it starts more with that, but then it slowly but surely kind of walks away from that, or just kills it off, and it, like, dude, the moment the fucking vice president died, it's just like, I'm like, oh, thank God. I mean, oh my God.
Oh my god! Oh no! Wait! No! Come
Like,
back!
I just felt such this wave of relief that I didn't have to hear this dude fucking go off anymore. He's dead. Fucking,
And then we had our peace for the next year.
which leads into the whole thing of, like, I guess the genuine ending and season. Honestly, you want to add about like the whole things of like what this does better than the games and everything. We've agreed on this, that the moment between Dante and Virgil in that last fight, and Virgil just holding him up by his collar, going like, "That day, if our roles were like," that line from DMC 5 being used specifically in that moment fits so much better compared to the game, where he's at top of the fucking tree and just saying it to himself.
Like, sure, it felt like quiet self-reflection at the time, but
But at
here
the same time,
it
it's like,
is.
I even back then I was just like, okay, that's a good line, but I feel like if you were to say that to Dante at
Right.
some point, like, it would have mattered more. Like, hell, they even have moments like that later on. It's like that. How many times have we fought? Only memory I have us since we were kids. That moment. You have the moment where they're like, you have the moment like in the Virgil story, where it's just like they're talking about they're recalling the memories of when they were kids and everything. It's just like, what does it matter? We're here now anyway. Like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, that is moments where it's like, okay, that I like that they're having that conversation and the dialogue together, and it's just like, why couldn't we get something along that line with this particular line for Virgil, just with Dante in the same space?
Right. It just felt weird.
Yeah, in retrospect, it did just kind of feel a little weird. Like, yeah, I do like that line from Virgil, but it's why was he just on the top? And that's where I think among everything else, it just kind of speaks to the strength and weakness of Devil May Cry. It's like they do have some of these good moments. They do have some of these good like dialogue and interactions between certain characters. It's just there are ways of doing it that are better in comparison to what they are doing. That they don't really seem to be capitalized.
Yeah.
And on top of that is also, I mean, Virgil's whole like bout against Mundus and wanting to rule Makai. Which I mean, I'm just gonna call it right here. I don't know if this is gonna shock anybody. No, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win. Look, if they were having, if they were, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win. If they were having trouble with Argasax as he was, and Mundus was able to
Yeah.
take him out like a bitch, like
Yeah, you're not winning.
have, and which inadvertently, I'm thinking this can lead into this can still tie into Devil May Cry in a lot of ways. Because Devil May Cry 1, Nilo Angelo was literally Virgil, who was Mundus' slave. Like that in and of itself, you can lead into that. That's a really good way to lead into Devil May Cry 1. And hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if they decided to make season 3 a time skip for where Devil May Cry 1 started. Among everything else, the way they've set up the story, that can work really well because then you introduce Trish.
Yeah, that's gonna be a door to open, and it'll be hilarious.
Like, and that's the thing too. It's just like neither Dante nor Virgil could beat Mundus alone. I mean, hell, literally, Dante needed Trish's help. Like that's how that final boss happened. I don't remember a lot about DMC1, but I do remember that fighting Mundus, Trish needed to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, she did need to help.
And it's just like again from there, it's just like you can also tie to other stuff with Devil May Cry. Like for instance, like I have this working theory with, especially considering the amount of times they have shown this one fucking diner. My ongoing theory is that this can just be a prelude to the 2007 anime. Especially considering Dante is rocking his like DMC1 or 2 outfit now, and that his hair is a lot more longer. He is without his brother anymore and everything, and he's incredibly depressed. And Lady's kind of just left as well to do her own thing with killing her dad. It's just like that. You can just lead this into being like Dante as more close to MC.
Right. So it opened up a whole lot of a whole lot of other things for Dante, especially.
Really, like this is where I'm like I just really hope that going forward they really stop doing the whole fucking commentary.
Well,
Stop all
you already know that's not gonna happen.
I know, and that's what pisses me off the most about it. And it's just like, as much as I liked season 2, I just don't know if I would be. I would have to see what it's about first because I'm gonna be real here. If we're still on the timeline for DMC on some level, just because of Lady's ambition to kill her father, I
Yeah.
kind of feel like we're drawing this out a bit because at this point,
Hmm.
aside from that, what else is there? What else is there to focus on, really?
Let's see. Honestly, there really isn't much except for like honestly, the only really big thing was yeah, Arkham Jester.
Arc
That was it.
Jester, like I mean, the whole thing with like the war on terror and America protesting kind of just went out the window the moment Virgil decided to make a talk show appearance. As soon as that happened, isn't it interesting that a lot of it just stopped? You didn't see any more like protesters in America or anything like that. Like
No,
it's
no, no. Bit weird, don't you think?
so it's just like I don't really feel like there's much else to go with timeline as is and focusing on it without either feeling like it's dragged out or on some level, it's just like adding more of the stuff that really had no business being story and just doing it the same way you have been doing without any kind of like act or fucking new.
Right.
That's it, it's one of those things where it's just like I don't really know if I want to look towards a season 3 because I feel like this is among other things just kind of a good point to stop. Like I will say this, if people want to like I would say stop here, then I don't know, maybe play like DMC 1 and then jump to the 2007 anime. That probably could be a decent time.
Yeah, yeah, it could. Honestly, I could see it.
Like
It's
yeah, you watch the first 2 seasons more or less. You jump to DMC 1, then you go to the 2007 anime, and then you go to DMC 4 and then 5. It's like that honestly seems like a pretty that seems like a pretty decent timeline with a lot of inclusions and a lot of uh genuine a lot of inclusions, a lot of different like things and changes and whatnot that feel welcome, but it also in just like in that particular timeline, just elevate the experience a lot more.
yeah, okay. I can see that setup being optimal. Optimal. Fucking. Oh god, I'm
I
playing too much Last Epoch.
oh my god, I I fucking Smug was showing me the like the fucking the server that was talking about like oh man how like people were like oh man how do I get into Devil May Cry and everything and they fucking like oh man like so I have to play 1 and like skip 2 and like go to 3 or 4 and it's just like and it's the usual shit of like oh yeah like 3 is the best and 4 and 5 are kind of 3 and 4 kind of interchangeable and like 5 is the best and like everyone hates the fucking reboot followed by people's it's just like all that bullshit and it's just like I I don't know. I just got I feel like among everything else with that kind of talk, it 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 just like there's a reason why among everything else is I have kind of stopped trying to in a lot of ways trying to hold conversations with a lot of people regarding stuff where like I like with stuff like for example the DMC anime because I know the kinds of answers I'll get regarding the series like even with us talking about the good and bad of it there will
Yeah.
likely be people who will see this and go well of course like yeah this is bad so that automatically means that everything is bad and I'm just like shut the fuck up that's not what we're saying like
Hey, how about you take 2 seconds before you open your mouth and then open your ears? It'd be so like they so much simpler. God
dude
damn.
we're dude we're not the fucking we're not fucking sensationalist fucking advocates here. We're like dude, we're not fucking video game critics or some shit. Like dude, we're like cookies and shit. Like but I'm like I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this series, you know, fucked your ex-wife and everything, but
Right in front of you.
we don't really take it all that fucking seriously.
It is literally not that deep.
Like the thing too is just like I here's the thing, right? I get criticizing among everything else. Case in point, we're fucking doing. I get
Yeah.
that this series does issues, but just like it's not just this series. We've been seeing with a number of different things across the board, whether it be Pragmata or Bioshock Infinite or fucking uh the fucking the dude who was like, "Oh, this shit is bad," and I'm tired of pretending it's not. That
Oh, that was the yeah, that was the same one
yeah,
with
yeah,
Bioshock Infinite.
yeah, that's right. It's just regardless of that, it's just like it like so many of these times it's just like people take entertainment and whatnot. I think just, in a lot of ways just way too seriously, and a lot of the times it's just like really it's really not all that serious. It's like okay, it's okay if you don't like this series. It's okay. Like look. If you just can't get into this series because what we were just complaining about, yeah, 100%, I get it, dude. Stick
That's
to the fucking games. By all means, stick to the games. Go ahead, like that's perfectly fine. You're not gonna hear much like much people like going against that. Like, oh, you don't like the series, then just go to the games.
that's it.
Perfectly fine.
That's all you gotta do.
But to act like this series has nothing of value to it just because it's different and it has problems just feels so fucking close-minded and reductive. Like the one thing I have heard among everything else is animation. People have said when this series came out, the animation sucks because it looks like Voltron, because it looks like She-Ra, it looks like Legend of Korra. It's like because this is done by the same kind of fucking studio in South Korea. This is like here's the thing, right? The people who are getting mad at the animation and whatnot for this, they're not getting mad because the animation's bad. They're getting mad at a stylistic choice. Like, for instance, if
Yep.
people are really mad at this studio and whatnot for the animation and whatnot, I want to see you get mad at Kyoto Animation when they come out with their fucking series, like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid or anything else that they come out with, like Violet Evergarden.
Hey, if you notice, they got real quiet after that.
I I want to see you come at like fucking Studio Trigger. Like the amount of series that they have done that look exactly more or less in the same fucking kind of art style. Or how about series like that are done by Toei Animation? You know, the people that are doing Dragon Ball and One Piece. How about the how about Hiromu Arakawa? Like in every single adaptation of her work, and even in her own works, they all have characters that genuinely look the same. They look like the same kinds of characters from Full Metal Alchemist. And you don't really hear many people talk about that all that much. It's just like, so that begs the question. It's just like, if the way these characters in the anime look is such a problem, why is it suddenly not that much of an issue when other studios and other creatives that have a similar art style for their characters and everything, why is it just not a problem with that? And it's just like this is just a genuine question. It's like, why is it a problem with this series but not a problem with that? And honestly, the answer I just boiled down to, I think it's just because this is recent and it's easy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's easier to bitch about something that is current and popular and people are talking about. Getting on anything else because then you have to stand by that for no other reason other than pride.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Like, and especially both seasons. I will get on the story elements as much as I will, sure. But I will absolutely say both seasons that shall without have some of the best fucking animation, best fucking choreography that I have ever seen. Period. And it's just really like I want to genuinely give credit to Studio Mir, not the director, right? Not the fucking director. I'm not gonna give him any kind of
anything.
fucking. I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here. I do not think it. I will give credit to people who have taken their time to write for the series and genuinely understood this series. I will take my time to give credit to the voice actors and actresses who went full on in with this fucking with full on in with their fucking performances and everything. I will give credit to the fucking music, dude. Like I think the fact that they got Papa Roach in to make an anime original song for the second season. That that is fucking just kudos. Like the fact that Papa Roach was a genuine pull for season 1 and they brought him in for season 2 to add in this whole new song. Like you can't tell me that this series doesn't have any kind of value to it. Like, if nothing else, what I would like down the line is, hey, could this series get a 2000s licensed track of something like Linkin Park or 3 Days Grace or any of those like 2000 earlier 2000s late 90s kind of bands that were full on like used during the AMVC. It's just like if we could get one of those like fucking like create if we can get one of those like music artists and their songs on board, like I think 100% that could absolutely go big with a lot of the people who love them.
Right. You know what? That I can see. And if it helps get more people into the series, then cool. As long as we don't give the director the time of day.
I I need a like a DMC Kai of this where we cut out or cut around a lot of the US social commentary that's unnecessary for this. But like the reason why like when we were watching season 2, I skipped through a vast majority of the entire first episode because it was and as we were watching through it, it was literally entirely pointless. Like the whole thing was just, hey, let's have soldiers go into war with the demons. We literally watched the rest of the story without all of that, just cut to the point where it's like, what was this all fighting for? Oh, it's just like all these soldiers are dying for a fucking cup. You know, the fate rule. But
Yep.
we watched it without that, and it was just like we didn't really see much of a difference or change all that much. We didn't really miss all that much without it. Which
Yeah,
goes
it was
to
like
which goes to show it's just like if we had a supercut of this series without most of that stuff in it, most of that stuff in it, then I think this could go a lot better in the long way for people who actually do want to give this series.
and that's all we want is if you want to give this a fair shot with that alone, honestly, yeah, just skip the first episode. You're good.
I again, I don't really know if I well for one, I don't really know if I want a season 2 because it's just like I really don't want to look towards what they're going to try to do. But also, it's just like unless I the only way this is going to, in my eyes, get me to go back to this show in any way, shape, or form. I like at this point, I just want to see them tackle some of the other games. If we're going the full 9 yards and doing all 5 games on some level, okay, because yeah, season 1 and 2 focus on DMC are loose renditions of DMC 2 and 3, basically. So I'm just like, if you can get 1, 4, and 5 down the line, I'm not really gonna complain all that much. I'm not really gonna
Yeah.
complain all that much. But if we're still stuck on if we're at season 3, if we're still stuck on DMC 3 at that point, like oh no, I think I'll skip it, come back if this series wants to focus on DMC 1. But
Right.
on the whole, it's just like I really don't think that still going forward, Kurt has enough material with for a story as it is without it being this side plot that gets wrapped up at some point in the third season. Like everything with Lady and her dad can just be its own C plot that gets wrapped up at some point in the story in the background. But
Yeah.
yeah, like everything with like Dante is just like at this point, like you might as well just cut to a time skip of him in DMC.
Right. You might as well just cut to it and be honestly, if they do decide to just end it there, heck, just if you're gonna go either 4 or something, hell, I wouldn't mind just having Nero as the main character. Actually, that'd be kind of hilarious.
There is also that also leads into questions of like, okay, who did Virgil knock up at the same time? Because it's like people can question, it's just like how would that even work because we only got introduced to him really in season 1, but at the same time it's like or season 2, but at the same time it's like, dude, he's able to cross between worlds with the Yamato. He doesn't really it's not the same thing with like what Mundus needed with with the Machian portal. So it's like you
Right.
can just make up whatever reasons you want, but at the same time it's just like again, like we know so fucking little about Nero's mom. It's just like who did Virgil sleep with? Because it's just like nobody knows. Like people theorize and speculate, but nobody really fucking knows.
Actually, yeah, no. To this day, we still don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
And honestly, if they do tap into that, honestly, I'd be down to see it.
It's everything else. I again, it is. I feel like I'm repeating. It feels. I think the toughest thing among everything else here is that this isn't like say the reboot necessarily, or like I was bringing up like Bioshock Infinite, some way where like among everything else, it's still a good game, except for one or two issues here or there, but it's still a good game. Or it's like among everything, this is a case where it's like, yeah, there are issues with the series, but they're very massive issues that can really get in the way of the story and everything, and make it feel that more solid. It's just like it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like I can't, I feel it feels hard playing devil pun intended advocate here. It really feels hard to play that because it's like I have to play devil advocate for a series that it's a bitch and a half to deal with because I like what they're doing, but I also really don't like what they're doing.
It's one of those things where I want to like this and I do like this, but at the same time, uh, yeah,
And it, like I again, I'm gonna bring up that pizza metaphor because it's fucking brilliant and it should ring in your head, and it should like fucking ring with a lot more people. Like this again, this series is 7 out of 8 slices. It is good. That eighth slice, though, either
it's
throw it out or put it back in the oven.
that's like oh, and then it's that point you just kind of baffle like how did this even happen?
It's like there's a. I mean, I wanted I think it's fitting that I bring I well I'm I'm just gonna end this on a fucking John Mulaney bit. Like this guy, whoever's in charge of the anime, it's like there's a horse loose in a hospital. It's like I think that everything's gonna be fine, but I don't know because there's a horse loose in a hospital. The horse has never been in a hospital. No one knows what's going to happen, least of all the horse. And then the quiet, and then the worrying times is just when you don't hear anything from the horse. And then the horse just goes, "I was inspired by 9/11 to do this," and just like, "Ah, that's what I thought you said, you dumb fucking horse." And then sometimes what the horse does is not necessarily bad. It's just odd. It's just I wrote Virgil to have a actual compelling focus around the morality and the ideologies of his own people and everything about how Dante's side is not necessarily entirely in the right. It's just like I didn't know the horse was able to do things like that. It's
Yeah.
I think among everything else, I think in a word in a sentence, the series it's
Yeah, that's really the best way to put it. It is just complicated.
I don't really know what else to say about it, but I am curious to the people who are in the same boat of us and everything. What do you think? Do you think like if they were to do more of this, do you think that there could be like other ways or other ideas that they could like tackle what they're doing with the social commentary and everything differently? And I'm just gonna be real here. A lot of the people who probably respond on that level, you probably would what you say could probably end up being a lot better than what the show did.
Yeah, you know what? That is fair.
Oh yeah.
But
But what do you guys think about the series? Everything like, do you like it? Do you hate it? If so, I mean, either way is understandable. It's just like, do you think that there's other stuff that they could be doing more with this series? And do you hope for some other things with this series, or I don't know? And here's an interesting question: like, would you be interested to see this come back for? Because this is one of the things where it's like, I actually don't know if I want to or don't want to.
I'm in the same boat. If it gets, it's I'm in the mindset of if it gets one, cool. If it doesn't, that's also fine.
Like, I feel like as it is like, I don't know. It feels like season three would kind of apply to the rule of threes kind of thing, where it's like at that point, it's like if nothing has changed, I feel like we would have that Markiplier chapter 5 to Poppy's playtime moment where it's like at some point it's just like, dude, dude, this is season fucking 3. Like at that point it's just like, enough. I can't do
Yeah,
this anymore.
yeah,
I don't
enough's
know.
enough.
But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Good.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us. See y'all in the next one. Take care. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
Ain't nobody really know me. Set my squad, my homies. Flow like water, I'm just coasting on that Hosey Brody. Never got time for Hosey, but I ain't never lonely. The only centerfold I gotta post it, who I'm gonna be rolling on.